Hear me now. My bad. Just too much going on. Well, at times, just too much going on to keep up with. So, unslaving yourself step by step. First thing is, you got to get over that mental block. And that mental block is keeping you acting slavish. You have all power, you have immunity. You have immunity to being arrested. Arrested means being stopped. You're walking down the sidewalk and somebody wants to stop you. They have no authority. Doesn't matter if they got a badge or a gun. It makes no difference. If they're a public servant or another brother and sister, it makes no difference. You have immunity from being arrested. You have franchise on liberty. You have franchise on freedom. You have a right to security. You have a right to privacy. You have franchise on those rights. They cannot be abridged. To be abridged means to have the text shortened, to have the strength removed. Anything that diminishes your rights is repugnant. And if it is enacted in any statute, act, rule, regulation, code, article, or section, it cannot stand as law and must be abrogated. When we allow these trespasses upon us unjustly, simply because we have been so dumbed down from our very first breath, that we find ourselves in a situation that we're in today. And the controlling power works on assumptions and presumptions. They do. They work on assumptions and presumptions. And they have enslaved humanity. So the first step to being free and getting this MK Ultra brainwash dealt with is to know the highest law of the land. That is the common law. You have duty as an American to hold your servants accountable. You can't just let your servants run wild and trample the rights of your fellow brothers and sisters with arbitrary power. That's absurd. It's slavish and it's destructive. So I show you how to own your authority, how to create a notice of liability. You can find the videos, they're titled. And I show you how to put your vehicle into private. You don't need a tab. You don't need a plate. You don't need to have it registered. You don't need to have it titled and registered in the DMV. You just think you do because Grandma and grandpa did. Mom and dad did. You did. Your aunts and your uncles did. Your brothers and your sisters did. Everybody did it because we were MK Ultra, soft MK Ultra from the time we was born, from our very first breath. And now you got all kinds of bad teachings out there, teaching people all kind of stupid stuff. Reclaim your identity. Get a national ID. Um, no, create that notice of liability. Stand on your rights. Put it in a court of record. And it's like having God's arm around you. It's that powerful. So, what's first step? Getting over the mental block. How do you do that? Knowledge. Study your state constitutions. Study those who have learn from those who have studied and can make it easy for you to understand. Now, my friend, I keep talking to him, every time he comes over here, and he keeps making excuses for the system. I try to explain to him how free he is, and he don't get it. And I show him, I explain it to him, but the soft MK Ultra, maybe the calcification of the pineal glands got something to do with it. I'm not sure on that. But I know it's very, very difficult for some people to actually have the desire to know the truth and research it and investigate it and verify it and validate it and then stand on it. So it's very simple. I keep saying, if you knew who you were, none of this would be necessary. As a society, we would not be living in fear. We would not be being financially raped and pillaged at every turn. We would have free time. There would be an incredible amount of industry. You know, we're doers, we're creators, but that's all been taken away. They've taken it out of school. You know, the auto shop that was in my high school with the hoist and the tool crib and the tire balancer and the electronic testing equipment, it's all gone. They're not going to teach that in school. They're going to teach you how to be dependent, how to be obedient, and give you false teachings about history. And they've taken religion out of school. They've taken prayer out of school. They've taken your flags out of school. The Pledge of Allegiance. Men have been demasculated. This world is full of confusion and fear. Stop it. Just stop it. You are an American. If you are. If you're Canadian, you're not American. Right? If you're an American, own it. You got the Constitution, which has all 50 states ratified into it. Every state's constitution is very powerful for you, for your immunities, for your franchises, your immunity to arrest, your franchise on liberty and freedom, your right to pursue happiness, acquire property, protect your property. People asking, well, should I appear in court? People say, yeah, do it as a special appearance. Mm-mm. Slave. Slave. Who can administer over you? Who's titled you? Who? Well, then why do you allow it? I'm going to tell you why. Because we have been dumbed down. And we have been made to live in fear. And we have been demasculated so that we will not stand up. As a society, this is true. Not all of us have relinquished our masculinity. Not all of us cower when we should stand. And those that are standing are examples for you. They're teachers for you. Men, you were born a man for a reason. You were born a male for a reason. It's our job to make sure that the women and children are safe and comfortable and secure. And it's not the case, is it? It's not. We're going to fix it. By God, we are going to fix it. And by God, you are going to see major movement. Major, like almost like science fiction. But it's not. The people are learning. Knowledge is power. The people are coming together. There is power in numbers. Now we have a synergy in numbers and knowledge. Numbers and knowledge are powerful. Very powerful. So I think eBay 78 feels a little ashamed or intimidated, but I give him credit. He spoke up. He asked questions. He learned, and he started doing some work. He started doing some research, and he sent me something. So I want to read it to you, um, and I'll find it here very shortly. Now, eBay 78, I can tell is still a little confused because he asked me, can this be used in his notice of liability? Well, it's actually something that's really good for his um, his affidavit. Uh, and here we go. 22. Uh, I think this is from New Jersey. So this has to deal with the courts. Okay. That the common law of England, as well as so much of the statute law, has been heretofore practiced in this colony, comma, shall still remain in force until they shall be altered by a future law of legislators. Such parts only accepted as are repugnant to the rights and privileges contained in this charter, and that the inestimable right of trial by jury shall remain confirmed as part of the law of this colony without repeal forever. And where do people find themselves? Jury trial, administrative, slave land. Who do you thank for that? You thank the bar. You thank the bar attorneys. You thank the judges who won't give you advice from the bench, and everybody tells you need an attorney, and their assumptions and presumptions trick you into slave land. You didn't need 4 years of college, did you? No, just a couple of minutes with a constitutional kiss. Keep it stupidly simple. If the stupid can understand it, the dumb down can own it. And this is not an insult. I've been dumbed down my whole life. My whole life has been a lie. I'm calling it out. I'm willing to admit the truth. So should you. You think you're so smart. Well, I went through that. You see, when we get into our 30s, we think we're the cat's meow. We think we know everything. The kids don't know nothing, and the old folks are senile. Well, you're just starting to grow up. At some point, you're going to realize you don't know nothing. You don't know jack. You don't know diddly. Because almost everything you do know is a lie. From the light MK Ultra that has been perpetrated on you your entire life. It's time that changes, and it is changing. All right. These are your first steps to becoming unslaved and being a free man, male or female. Look at Washington State. I believe it's Grant County. Sheriff out there called the state police in, called the municipal police in, called the FBI in, the ATF, and others, and said, look, this is a constitutional county. You have no authority. You have no jurisdiction. Unless a man provides information that is so compelling that a grand jury will issue a warrant for another man's arrest, or if a man, through sworn testimony under penalty of perjury, provides that to a grand jury, an order for arrest can be issued. Now, it can be an order for an arrest, which is a stop, and you get questioned. Possibly the charges or the evidence are so compelling, it's a stop and detention until you answer in front of a jury of your peers. They're the judges. Now, common law is harsh. It is very harsh. And it's swift justice. You're not in court year after year after year. Technicality, new trial, all this stuff. It was like 1, 2, 3 days over. It's that fast, and it's that hard. Well, be aware of that. When you become unslaved, follow the rule of cause no harm. All right, people. That's my message for you for this morning or this afternoon. It is afternoon here. Feels like morning. All right. We got some nasty weather in the country. Tornadoes, high winds, heavy rains. You people in those areas, you keep yourself safe. Everybody own your authority and live free. We're on our way. And there's big, big, big news coming. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.